as deputy president. And once he's sworn in, it is absolutely impossible to unswear him. So that's just how critical today is going to be for the deputy president and also for President William Ruto, because if they get their way, then we'll see a complete switch of the country's politics. Now, onto our education sector, where the University Academic Staff Union, UASU, has announced a nationwide strike by lecturers in all public universities, effective midnight yesterday. UASU had issued a 7-day strike notice, which expired yesterday, following unresolved disputes with the government regarding the implementation of a return-to-work formula agreed upon during negotiations on the 26th of September. Now, beginning midnight yesterday, all public universities' operations were halted, as UASU stated that their attempts to engage in dialogue with the government had been unfruitful.
If you have given a member 7%, it will show. And we are not dealing with illiterate people. Don't know how to calculate 7% and 4%. So you cannot cheat them. And you want UASU officials to be part of that manipulation? That one we will not do. I want to tell UASU members, wherever they are, just work today up to midnight. Work today up to midnight. Midnight. With 1 minute. Down your tools.
We must honor the return to work formula. We must honor the recognition agreement that we have. And we are also telling the government that it is time CBS are negotiated in time. When there is delay in negotiation, somebody starts sitting back and saying this figure is too high. If CBS are negotiated and implemented in time, nobody would have a problem, and that's what we are calling for. We cannot be at the end tail of our CBA and we are still being taken round and round in circle.
Well, the education system in this country seems to be going through what you can call a stomach upset. And it's become so bad to a point whereby the system is simply diarrheaing because quite a number of things are off. And yesterday, by the way, the Kenya Primary Education Assessment, or KPSEA examinations, began. The assessment, which was part of competency-based curriculum, or CBC, will be administered between yesterday and the 30th of October, which is tomorrow. Over 1.2 million grade 6 learners were expected to sit for the exams across 35,573 centers in the country. Some 143,026 officers were involved in the administration of the KPSEA exams. Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba supervised the distribution of KPSEA papers at the Kenya National Examination Council container in Westlands, Nairobi. Now, candidates sat for the mathematics paper yesterday in the morning, which was followed by the English paper mid-morning.
We have a candidature of 31,634. Of these 31,000, 15,774 are boys and 15,860 are girls. We have a total of 581 assessment centers in the whole county. And of these 581, 387 are public schools, assessment centers in public schools. We have other 194 assessment centers in.
All the center managers are present. They are able to pick the exams. Necessary security arrangements have been made, and the exams are secure. All arrangements are set. We have no doubt that this is going to be a successful exercise. We are working together with all the agencies to make sure that the exams are delivered and they are credible as the government has planned. And no, so far so good. There are no incidences up to now. All the 290 centers in the county have around 12,000 candidates. Everything is set and all is well so far. No incident has been reported so far, and all arrangements have been made.
Kama kaunti ya Kakamega tuko na mashule 1113. Asubuhi ya leo kila shule iko tayari kuanza mtihani wa KPSEA. Tumefanya preparation za kutosha. Kila shule imechukua mitihani yao asubuhi hii. Kila kitu iko sawa na wanafunzi wetu wanaenda kukadia mitihani yao, na tuko na hakika watafanya vizuri katika hii assessment ya KPSEA. Katika hii center tumehimiza wanafunzi wafanye assessment yao kwa utulifu, sababu wamekuwa prepared according to yale ambao tumeambiwa na mwalimu mkuu. Wamekuwa prepared vizuri.
Well, as I said, the education sector in the country is going through a lot of stomach aches. The Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, KUPPET, has rejected the proposed amendment that would integrate junior secondary schools, or JSSs, within the primary school framework as comprehensive schools. Speaking at the KUPPET Kericho Brand annual general meeting, KUPPET Assistant Treasurer Ronald Tunui stated that JSS should remain as a distinct educational level. He said it should remain separate from primary schools to safeguard teacher mobility and ensure a conducive learning environment tailored to the developmental needs of junior secondary students.
We want JSS to be on its own, to stand alone, not to be under primary. Not to be under primary, because those are separate entities. If you read the Constitution, Schedule 4, it talks of primary and secondary. So that there should be a clear distinction. But for junior secondary school and senior secondary school, there should be teacher mobility. You can decide one time, I want to go to the senior school, you go and teach there. You want to go to junior school, you go and teach there. But remember, senior school is going to be pathways. Your school may decide to be a science-only school, and you are teaching humanities. What will happen to you? Then you can say, you can go to JSS or you go to a art school. So that is why we need to have that teacher mobility. And also there is going to be talent school. So we need to borrow the experience which is existing in the senior school and take it to the junior school, because otherwise junior school will not have the administrators and such.
We are wondering if this CPG that we got, because we believe we got it in the return to work formula. Our question is, when is it going to be reviewed and how is it going to be reviewed? We want to hear from the horse's mouth. Another thing that we don't want to miss is the promotions for 2024. Tunangojea. Another thing that we don't want to miss is the acting allowance. People have acted deputies, people have acted principals, and even HODs with nothing.
Right now, let's check out what's happening in the newspapers. The headlines of the newspapers are pretty interesting. If you check on the Standard, there's a gentleman who've literally been set free after allegedly disappearing with over 7.6 billion shillings belonging to the taxpayer in the country. You wonder, who in the world am I speaking about? It's a gentleman called Devani. Now, this guy had been extradited from the UK to come to Kenya and face criminal charges. But key witnesses, including former Minister Kiraito Murungi, have refused to testify again in the case that lost the country billions of shillings. Young Nesh Devani, the architect of the oil deal, had been on the run for 16 years until he was extradited from the UK to face crimes that the DPP now says cannot be proven. Now, there's a quote here from Kiraito Murungi who says, "I support the pursuit of justice, but respectfully, I don't think this is a reasonable request. I provided my evidence over a decade ago. Where have they been? Why seek to recall me for cross-examination after all this time?" I thought in this kind of cases, or whatever kind of cases, if you're a witness, and mostly so to this kind of loss, the Triton deal that basically cost the country 7.6 billion shillings, I don't think it's supposed to be a request for you to come and testify, is it? You testified back then. Why are you developing cold feet to testify now? We're trying to recover 7.6 billion shillings unless there was no evidence. And that's what the DPP says. I mean, key witnesses have refused to testify. I wonder why. Tisk. Page 2, families struggle with grief as abductions and murders surge. Ooh, this is crazy. According to former CJ Magara's task force report, merger of security agencies has led to failure in maintaining public safety. And then page 3 killed in brutal gang attack, and then terrified villagers urge state to act. Where is this? The residents of Mundeku in Butere, Kakamega County, are living in fear following the brutal killing of 3 people by a gang of 20 men. Why? Anyway. And then on the page 4, you're told how this gentleman who disappeared with 7.6 billion shillings basically has walked free from one of the country's biggest scandal. 7.6 billion shillings richer. How will people stop doing this when they can, when they see that they can literally get away with murder? The back page of the Standard, you have Manchester United manager Ten Hag, who was forced to walk away. I mean, it is a horrible time now for Manchester United because, well, they're not performing well. They've never performed well since Alex Ferguson left the club as coach, as manager. From that time, I don't think they've ever performed to a point where you can say these guys are doing well. They've never, not to the best of my memory. Now, the Daily Nation, how police use phones to track capture suspect. Now, I don't know whether this is a good story to write, because you write a story telling people how police track people, and then you empower them to beat the system. So I don't think this is a good story. That's just me. And then, hey, you know how you are trying to earn a living, get at least improve your family's assets, at least ufikie area where you can say my assets are a couple of millions or this, we are able to make ends meet. Well, former president and the late President Daniel Arap Moi's family is fighting over the control of the empire. And guess how much that empire is worth? It's worth 300 billion. 300 billion shillings. That's how enormous President Moi's estate is. The second page, which I know thugs and people who are intent on committing crime will be reading today. I bet the nation is really going to be bought today by a lot of thugs because of this, revealed how police use mobile phones to track and capture suspects. The fourth page is about the fight for President Moi's estate. And then the sixth page, you're looking at Gashagua's bid to stall the ouster cases. Then page 7, you have Ruto 2020 self-poll dilemma amid growing hostility in Mount Kenya. Now, there's a video I watched. I don't know whether you watched. And I saw Kalonzo Musyoka was there. What is this guy? Ferdinand Waitito was there. I think Jeremiah Kioni was also there. Quite a number of these guys. And what was happening, it's like they're already chatting the direction they are going to take with this, that has been provided for them on a silver platter. And give credit to Kalonzo Musyoka, because I think for the very first time he can smell the possibility of unseating President William Ruto. He is making forays into Central, and he seems to be gaining a lot of traction. But the unfortunate thing, during that meeting, they were singing to the god of Kirinyaga. Now, the god of Kirinyaga is nothing but a demon. I know quite a number of Kikuyus. I am a Kikuyu, but I know a number of Kikuyus will not like me saying this. The god of Kirinyaga, there's no god there. It's just a demon. And when the community starts worshipping a demon that is hiding itself behind the mountain and singing praises to it, we will draw wrath. The wrath of God as a community because of doing that. And I know there is Apostle Simon who's been going around in the country trying to tell the mountain that this so-called God of Kirinyaga that you're fighting is not a real God. And he's the one, and as a result of worshipping and offering sacrifices to him, that's the reason why your children are now stuck on so many funny things. When you talk of alcohol abuse, Central, when you talk of all kind of crazy things happening there, there's no population. The population growth in Central Kenya has really gone down. Really gone down. In the sense that if you count the number of people who are born in Central or Mount Kenya region the last couple of months, you'll be shocked. Because the young men who are supposed to be, increasing the generation are busy drinking, and they've become nothing but zombies. And here you go worshipping the so-called God of Kirinyaga. It is unfortunate. But like they say, time will tell. I hope, and I've heard Reverend Kavoy, Apostle Simon, and other ministers during Saturday's show Theology, basically talking about how some people are going back to the traditional gods, the gods of the old, of their forefathers, and trying to win favor with you cannot win favor with demons. They will destroy you. That's their nature. It's like trying to make friends with a cobra. At some point, it will test its fangs on you. So it is very unfortunate that the mountain is going this direction. And as you pray, by the way, because this is it's a major concern, as you pray, please pray for that region, because what is happening there is not rosy at all. It is ungodly. Anyway, let me take a break as I sip my cocoa given to me by Angela Kitondo. Just in case you're wondering who Angela Kitondo is, Angela Kitondo is one of the ladies in our office. She makes the best coffee, best tea, and best cocoa. Let me give it a taste. When we come back, we get into our discussion as we see what's happening today. Ama namna gani? All right.